Hello, welcome to Staring Down the Storm, Autism Advocacy in America. I'm your host, Tabitha Ziegler. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I have my good friend with me, Christina.
Hello.
We're going to talk about all the good things, autism and everything else. So, Christina, I'd just like you to introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I'm Christina, of course. And I have a daughter who's 13. She's autistic and but she's doing pretty good, I would say, So,
well, TT's 13, right?
uh-huh.
And, because Christina and I are friends, so we've had several conversations outside of the podcast. So I've got a little bit insider information. But to make Christina comfortable and make sure that she knows she's among peers, we just want to make sure she can talk about all of the things. So TT recently got a haircut.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk a little bit about that. Like maybe there's some information that people would find useful.
Yes, well, TT, she's mixed. She's Puerto Rican and black, so her hair is like really super thick and curly. Mm-hmm. But she won't let me detangle it. And it got to the point when one part got matted, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
So I decided to go ahead and just have a beautician, just cut it all off. Because the beautician tried to take it out too, but it just wasn't moving. So, but honestly, I like it because I don't have to do too much to it. I just put curl cream on it and mousse, and that's it. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, and then I just let it go. I think she likes it too because she doesn't. I don't have to work with her hair too long because after a while she's like, okay, I'm done.
Well, because that's a struggle that a lot of autistic kids have, right? Is doing your hair, whatever that looks like. And you've seen my kids before; they all have long hair, and that started because my older son liked to just have his hair in the wind. So when he was really small, he'd just be outside, the wind would be blowing, and, he's just enjoying that. And, he was cute and small, and so it seemed like he liked it, and I never cut it. And now it's all the way down his back. And now we're putting in fake hair extensions to pretend that we're Rapunzel or, Elphaba. Right now, his thing right now are the Wicked characters. So Elphaba and Glinda. Mm-hmm. And we've got all the dresses. We've got, the wands, the broom, the multi, changes. We're singing all the music. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about hair because, hair is a multicultural issue. It's something that is, really important and embraced in different shapes and forms. Yes. So because we come from a variety of backgrounds, I thought it would be an interesting topic to cover.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So have you taken her to the hairstylist a lot? How does she tolerate that?
We go every 2 months, and her name is Brittany, and she's actually in Fishers, and honestly, I love her because she you can tell that she's worked with,
kids with disabilities?
Yes, thank you. And so she knew, I could tell that she prepared, to make sure the environment was nice for TT. I mean, there was no one else in the salon. Mm-hmm. She knew that she didn't, TT didn't like the sound of the razor, so she would use the scissors. Mm-hmm. TT's actually to the point where she will lean her head back now, and then
so she likes it.
Yeah, she likes it. She'll fall asleep, and when she's getting her hair, taken care of too. Brittany has a tripod, and she'll put my phone or her device on there so she can watch it while she's getting her hair done. Mm-hmm. And you can tell she prepared for it, and that makes a difference. I mean, she's pricey, but it's worth it.
Well, maybe you might want to give Brittany a shout out. Like, I know there are other people in the community that really struggle with getting their hair done, but especially for, African American or Caribbean American portion of the community that maybe are struggling to find someone. Maybe you can give a little shout out to Brittany. Where is Brittany located?
Off of 116th Street and Municipal Drive in Fishers. I can't remember the name of her salon, but
we can put it in the details afterwards.
Okay.
I just figured that might be helpful because, there are certain conversations that come up in the autistic community, and one of them is finding a hairstylist.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big one.
And she does do education. Like, she'll go to Kokomo, where she's from, and then she'll go somewhere in Indianapolis and educate people about multicultural hair and curly hair. So, yeah.
That's super important.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'm really happy that you found a place and that TT's enjoying it.
Yes, me too. We've come a long way.
Now, when did you start getting her hair done?
Well, I started when she was 6. That didn't go over too well, so I just left it alone. So,
well, let's talk about that a little bit. I think people would find that valuable, especially people with the young kids that maybe have not even gotten a haircut yet.
Well, it was rough because the sounds, the smells, all of that. I think her brain just couldn't take all that, So we got so far, only so far on her hair, and she didn't like it at all. And I think what might have helped was if we went there before, because that's the difference between when she was 6 and now. I actually took TT for a consultation, and so she could see the atmosphere and everything. And that's another thing about Brittany. She had like calm, relaxing music and everything, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah, so it was an experience for her.
Yeah, it was, and she enjoyed it. I'm like, I never thought she would enjoy getting her hair, professionally done again, but she loves it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, my kids, like I said, they've got long hair, and they've only officially been once to get their hair cut. And so I am now going to have to educate myself about braiding. And I'm one of these women that I can put my hair in a clip and a ponytail. I was never one that learned how to French braid or French twist or any of that. But my older son seems like he's very interested in that. And his teachers are excellent, actually, because he's coming home with all kinds of braids.
Oh,
so
nice.
I think now I'm at that zone where I have to learn an additional skill because he's wanting to get the hair braided, and I'm lacking in that department. So how about braids? Does she do braids as well?
We tried it. It just didn't. It didn't work because one of her stimming things, she likes to take her bangs and kind of wrap them around her hair, and so but by the time she got out of school, she had little Afro puff balls in the
she was pulling it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we tried it. It's another thing. So I actually used to braid her own hair because her hair was long enough, but but as crochets or anything like that, she won't tolerate it. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, as a single mother, because I know we're both single moms, and your daughter is a little older than mine, maybe you'd like to walk us through some of your experiences, just for the people that have the younger kids that are still kind of figuring things out. Did TT participate in ABA or anything? How was your journey?
No. TT was diagnosed with autism when she was 3.5.
Okay.
When she was born, everything, seemed fine and all that. And until a year and a half, when she was a year and a half, it seemed like her speech was regressing. She wouldn't look at you when you spoke to her, things like that. But then I'm like, okay, maybe it's her eyes. Let me get her eyes checked.
Right.
Her eyes are fine. I'm like, okay, maybe it's her hearing. Maybe that's what it is. And her hearing was fine. I'm like, oh boy. I think because let me kind of backtrack here.
Yeah, we can backtrack.
Okay, because I babysat when I was in high school, and my favorite kids were actually the ones on the spectrum.
Oh,
Now,
really?
I didn't know they were on the spectrum until later on in life because I'm still in touch with them and everything.
Oh, wow,
But
that's impressive.
yeah, so through Facebook, everything's
sure.
on Facebook.
Right.
But yeah, and I've seen some of the same traits from them in TT, and what kind of really tipped me off was she's at kinder care.
Yeah.
And her best friend, her quote unquote best friend, got mad at her and bit her.
Oh.
And the teacher said, like, Titi just laughed, like, it didn't even hurt. I'm like,
really?
uh-oh. I was like, that's not quite normal.
Yeah.
So I called Riley, and, by then, I think it was like 2 months we got in, which I know right now it's longer. But, because this was back in 2015, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, she got diagnosed. They did all the diagnostic tests and everything, and yeah, she's diagnosed at 3.5, and I cried.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I cried because I wasn't thinking that my life would be different. I was thinking her life will be different.
Sure.
And she'll have to navigate this world, and. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. But the thing is, I found people who also had kids on the spectrum. Like April, I worked with her at the pharmacy.
Okay.
And her daughter was 6 and had autism. So
Okay.
I learned a lot from her about, SSI and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to think who else. I know she helped, but I mean, there's like other things, like, I have like a nurse in the family, and, she kind of helped me along too. So it's important to have that, kind of like that mentorship,
Yeah.
because I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know, and I went to Autism Speaks, like the website, and
Yeah.
it had like a checklist on what
gotcha.
you need to do, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I did that, and I got her autism specialist,
Okay.
Dr. Mary Lou Halsman. I got in contact with her.
Okay.
And she wanted TT to be, gluten-free for a whole month and see how that went.
Okay.
And actually her digestive issues were better.
Okay.
And so her behaviors were less. So,
What type of digestive issues was she having?
slow, like she was always constipated for the most part.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So limited diet.
Yeah.
What type of things was she liking to eat then?
Peanut butter jelly, like she does now. What else? Mac and cheese, nuggets, all that stuff.
Well, the reason I ask is because I find this is quite common in the autistic community. There's like very limited things sometimes that kids will eat, or they'll eat those things for a period of time and then they're off of them and they'll try them again. So
Yeah. There's a few things she doesn't divert from. That's mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly, chicken nuggets, spaghetti. Those are all her favorite things. So,
Okay.
And then she does like frog legs too.
Oh, really?
I found that out.
And how did you stumble upon that?
We went to Kentucky. We were on our way to the Smoky Mountains, but we stopped in Kentucky and we went to this like off the wall restaurant.
Yeah.
And she wanted to try the frog legs, and I'm like, oh, really want those? She tried it. She was like, ooh, turkey? So she thinks it tastes like turkey.
Okay.
To me, it was too gamey. I was like, ooh. I couldn't.
Yeah.
One bite was enough for me. But yeah, that's how I found out she likes frog legs.
Well, that was quite adventurous of her.
Yeah.
So how did she identify it on the menu? Because TT doesn't really speak that much, does she?
No, she's
So-
minimally verbal. So
Right.
but it's
Did you see somebody else eating it? And
Yes.
she was like,
Yeah.
Somebody
yeah,
at
she
some other table then.
Actually, at our table, I think it was my ex's father-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. I think it was him that had him. So, yeah.
Well, I always find that part interesting because I keep trying to get my kids to try different things. And honestly, they tried a lot more when they were babies. They ate just about everything, you know, all the different types of baby food and all of that. But now all three of them have gotten to a point where their diet is getting pretty restrictive. So like we've started a powder vitamin that I can mix into their bottles because all three of them still are drinking milk and they drink milk in a bottle. And so I was trying to be clever about that, especially for my son Koa because he was real restrictive. And so I was getting a little concerned. I was like, you know, he doesn't seem like he's eating a lot. Though my kids are, every time I take them to the doctor, they're in like the 99th percentile. So they're giants in comparison to me anyway. But like typical Midwestern mother, I'm like, oh, Manja, like you're not eating enough. So I'm curious if you're the same way.
Oh no, she, especially now being a teen, she eats everything.
You're packing away.
Everything, yes.
Okay.
So actually we had a dietitian appointment like a couple of months ago, and basically we're trying to get more protein into her diet because she loves carbs.
Yeah.
She loves carbs. But so if I make she likes the sheet pan recipes that I do. So what I will do is just like, you know, after I'm done baking it and everything, take it out, I'll put eggs in there, and I'll put chicken, you know, just trying to get more protein into her diet. So yeah, she seems to like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So does she have any problem with like different colors, or you can pretty successfully mix things in and as long as it's in a sauce, she likes it?
She doesn't like this, like any kind of sauce, which is, I don't know why, but she doesn't. Or anything like soup or things like that, she does not like.
So it's pretty much like dry pasta.
Yeah.
With other things mixed in.
Yeah, like a rice bowl or something like that, or a grain bowl. She loves stuff like that. Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
But the only thing she doesn't like is pears. I don't know why. That's one thing she's never, because I tried it when she was little. And I tried it when, she was older, and she just, I think it may be the texture. I don't know, because pears do have that kind of weird texture. But yeah, that's one thing she will not touch.
Interesting. Yeah. So do you have any tips that you would recommend to like the newer parents delving into autism that, maybe their kids are struggling with a little bit of food aversion, of little tricks and tips you've learned along the way of maybe things they could try with their kids if they're being super picky?
Well, one thing I did do, I would buy the pastas that have like, the veggies like hidden within them, things like that. And then I was just like little by little put like vegetables like in her food, and she got to the point that she likes it. So just little by little, don't just dump it on them right away.
Yeah.
So
sneak a pea in there every once in a while.
Yeah.
Does she eat seafood at all?
Oh yeah, she loves shrimp.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a shrimp girl.
It's interesting because when my kids were younger, obviously they'd try more things. But with the first one, I was trying really hard to make sure that he ate well. And so I would make salmon. And I remember he was tiny and he loved salmon. I'm going to have to try salmon with him again. Because now that I'm having this conversation with you, I'm outnumbered because there are 3 of them. 3 to 1 is a lot. Yeah. And, sometimes you get kind of bogged down by life. And it's easier to do the chicken nuggets and stuff, which, of the limited foods that they love, McDonald's chicken nuggets are like high on the list. So I'm trying really hard to find alternatives to chicken nuggets. Or like, I think my parents went to Sam's Club and they found a different type of chicken nugget that seems like more all meat, and they seem to like it. But it's interesting because they also get really stuck in their ways, and my kids will be the first ones to be like, nope, I'm going to starve myself, or I'm going to wait you out until you think that I'm starving, and then I'll eat something. Is TT like that a little bit, or was she in that fast?
She was, but about the chicken nuggets, I found Tyson chicken. Oh gosh, chicken bites, and
Okay.
they're like nuggets. They're grilled, and she loves those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you get those at?
Target, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
Target, Meijer, Kroger. I think anywhere.
Anywhere.
Uh huh.
Well, for those people that are wondering,
Yeah.
I know it may seem interesting that we're having a food conversation, but in the autism world, the farther and farther you get into it, it just seems like this is something that comes up. Certain things like getting their hair done, toilet training, food issues, food allergies, digestive issues. So that's why I thought it would be a good topic to talk about today.
Yeah. Now, TT, she was 8 when she was potty trained. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is she all the way potty trained now?
Well,
Or is she
I
doing
would-
like nighttime
I would
diapers?
say, yeah, I do put her in like the nighttime, like depends or whatever.
Okay.
So she won't get up. She won't wake up to use the restroom. So
Yeah.
sometimes I have to do that. But other than that, she's doing pretty good. So.
Now, how about when you're traveling? Do you put her in a diaper when you travel?
Yes, I do. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll put her in. I put her in 2. So
Yeah.
so I won't have like a big sea of urine in the back seat.
No, I'm just asking because I'm traveling a lot with my kids. I know sometimes people with kids with disabilities, they're a little afraid to travel. So, things like that are important conversations to have too, because, our kids potty train later, generally. My oldest one, he's 5.5. He's still in diapers. They've tried to potty train a couple times at school, and, he'd started to do it and then he regressed and he seemed like he wasn't interested at all. Right now, my daughter, she's potty training and she's very successful at school, but the minute that she hits the house, she's like, meh, couldn't care. Not really interested. Then her twin brother, he's getting interested. He'll go in the bathroom. So I know he knows what the bathroom is. He knows what people do in the bathroom. So he may take himself into the bathroom to do a number 2 or something like that, but just not on the toilet yet. But still, these are wins
Right.
for autistic kids, especially for the ones that don't speak.
Exactly.
Does TT have an AAC device?
Yes, she does.
How's that working out?
Pretty good actually. They had the school had a awards. Actually, the class had an award ceremony, and her award was the lamp extraordinaire. Because she found things on the lab program that the teachers didn't even know existed. So she's a pro at the lamp. Now, honestly, we don't really use it at home because I can understand her. But if we go to church, I'll take it with us, or she has outpatient speech, I'll take that the device with us too. So yeah, so she does pretty good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything technology wise, she's on it.
Well, I know you were just telling me earlier that, she's figured it out at church to where if she doesn't like what they're watching, she's just going to put her show on the TV.
Yep, she knows how to cast. I don't know where she learned it. She just knows how to do it.
Well, isn't that interesting though, how right now we're coming into a moment in the political spectrum where we're talking about institutionalization and things of that nature. And I find it's really important to start to have these conversations, especially for, the adults and teenagers and children that don't really speak or use an AAC device of something of that nature. There's this regression, societal regression, when it comes to aptitude or worthiness as far as who's worth having services and how to allocate these services. So maybe we can talk a little bit more about TT and how you think she sees the world, and and a question of value for people that would look at your daughter and say, okay, this isn't someone that is worth serving, and we think she would be better off, or maybe from a society perspective it would be better for society if we put her in an institution instead of in your care and in the schooling that she's in. Like, maybe we can really delve deep into that and your thoughts on that.
Ugh.
I know it's a heavy one,
Yeah,
but it's a necessary one.
Yes, it is. I don't even know where to start, honestly.
Start anywhere and we'll just work our way around it.
Okay. I can't imagine her being institutionalized. Like, there's no way it's not going to happen. On my watch, it's not going to happen. I don't know. That's so extreme. Like, but I mean, I know they did that back, years ago.
Yeah.
But it's like my brain can't even, like, reach that point of thinking that she'll be somewhere, sitting in the corner and not really doing anything, and just, I can't. My brain just can't compute that. So I don't know.
Well, walk us through, like, from start to finish. Now, obviously, you've covered a little bit of the early years, but now, TT's been in school for a while. You've seen how the public school system works. Like, walk us through that, educational process and, the transformation that you've seen for your daughter.
Well, she loves school.
Yeah.
She absolutely loves it. I don't always agree with the way they handle things, though. Like, for instance, last year, she bit a student twice, and they called me to come pick her up. I'm just like, why? She had a behavior. She should be able to, know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. Like, basically, the assistant principal was like, come pick her up. Yeah. And I'm like, why? And I really didn't get an answer, Okay. And so I could tell the teacher was, like, trying to, like, kind of deflect from, what happened. And so I picked TT up, but I wasn't happy. I wanted to talk to the assistant principal because I knew she's the one that made that decision. And, the front office, they were like, oh, well, she's in a meeting. I'm like, okay, I'll wait.
Right.
I'll wait. That's fine. So, they brought TT to me and everything, and then we talked, and I really think the school, they got scared.
Okay.
Because I guess the mom came in with, like, pictures of, like, the bite, and she was concerned, and I think they got scared. So I took TT. I didn't take her home. I took her to Barnes and Noble. Okay. And there's, like, 2 books, like, Teeth Weren't Meant for Biting, and there's a emotions book. And so we went through it, and I actually bought it for her, just as a teaching moment for her, because I can tell by her attitude, not the attitude, but I could just tell by her demeanor that, she knew something wasn't right. You know what I mean? Like, something, like, she did something wrong and everything. So, and then there's another time, this year or last year? I think it was last year. I had to come pick her up too because same thing. She likes to bite, and I'm like, sending her home doesn't really teach her anything,
right?
So things like that.
Like, maybe they don't have a de-escalation process for that, or did they walk you through what their policy was?
There's I cannot think of the name of it, but there's a maneuver that they do. Kind of like hold the child, like, close to the body, and they'll release the bite or something like that. I can't think of the name of it.
Did they even tell you, like, what happened, or were they even aware of what led up to the bite? Or did they have a conversation with you about that?
Oh, yeah. Like the one last year, it was because it was a transition, and she was going from her tablet to another activity that she didn't like, and that's what started it.
So did she bite another student? Or
yes.
Okay.
But she has been like IAs and stuff like that. If especially if it's technology and she can get her hands on it, she will bite you.
Okay.
So, but I will say she's getting a lot better. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. I haven't had any incidents this year so far.
Does she bite you at home?
Oh yeah.
No, I'm just curious. Certainly not trying to highlight anything that TT's doing wrong, but just kind of trying to get to like the root of it. Because my kids also do things.
Yeah.
There are certain behaviors, and I think that I would agree with you. There are certain environments where it would seem that there is a strong drive to understand the root of the behavior and have a process to work through that, so that they can either eliminate that behavior or reduce that behavior. So it would seem like your impression is sort of like maybe they dropped the ball a bit and they could do a little bit more to improve that. That's kind of what I'm getting from you.
Yeah, I just don't think, suspension or, sending them home is the right solution.
Now, is TT in a separate class? Is she in a special education class?
Life skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are also other kids that have similar, maybe, disabilities that are in a class with her.
Because the other class is for students who just use their communication devices. Like, they're totally nonverbal.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's in life skills, and I believe she has art in gym, like, with her peers. Yeah.
Interesting. Because see, all three of my kids are in ABA right now, but I'm paying very close attention and asking a lot of questions because, they're going to be needing to go into some type of schooling that is outside of ABA. And I feel like the ABA therapists, I couldn't have picked a better location for my kids. They treat my kids like family. They work through all those processes. I get several emails. Like, if there's a behavior or something at school, I'll get a phone call right away. Like, I feel very much involved. Like, they involve me in these decisions to the point where if they call, I'm normally like, what'd they do? Which one was it? And normally at that point, like, I'm not angry. I'm just asking. I'm asking clarification, what happened. And I think that transparency is helpful.
Yes.
How many TAs and stuff like that would be in TT's classes at school where she is?
3.
Okay. And how many kids?
I believe there are 7 this year.
That's not too bad.
No. But I will have to, I do want to say her teacher, Mr. Gebhardt, he is awesome. He is, he's like fresh out of Ball State. Well, I guess this is his 2nd year now.
Okay.
But there's a time where TT didn't want to go to school because I started a new job, and so like she wasn't used to my schedule. She's used to me being home.
Yeah.
And so I got a call from her teacher, and he was like, "Well, I can create a social story for her about coming back to school." And he's like, "Is it okay if I do that and come over and read it to her?" I'm like, "Sure."
Yeah.
So he did a social story and came over that evening and went through it with her. Of course, TT had no interest, but still, I've never had a teacher ask that before at all.
That's great.
So like, even when I was in the hospital, he checked on my mom and TT when I was in the hospital, making sure they were okay. And he goes above and beyond. I really appreciate him. I'm gonna miss that because TT will be in high school next year. So
she's moving on to a new set of teachers.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So,
have you met with any of these teachers yet?
Honestly, I think half of them go to our church. So
okay.
So yeah.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, I'm really kind of stressed. Like I've really put a lot of thought into what happens next, and something that's really starting to concern me. And I think it's an important conversation to have. Like, some of our kids, they're more susceptible to bullying and things like that. They may not be aware of things going around them, certain dangers. And, I've got the set of twins. So Nayeli, she's like WWE. She's not going to take anything. I'm not really worried about her besides the fact that she's kind of a people pleaser. Like, she really wants to make friends. She wants to get along. She wants to play well. She could get her feelings hurt really easily if she wasn't understanding what's happening and she's trying to play with someone. Mm-hmm. But that's different than her twin Koa, who he's a little smaller, he's starting to advocate for himself better, mm-hmm. but he would be the one that would maybe be singled out or bullied or whatever. And he's also the one that doesn't really speak and has the AAC device. I've got my older son that wears dresses because that's his thing, and more the like sensitive theater kid type. And each one of my children is different. Each one of my children has autism. Each one has their own struggles. Mm-hmm. But I'm really paying attention to this uptick in all of the bullying. And now, obviously there's online bullying. Our kids also have access to tablets, mm-hmm. even if they may not understand everything. I'd say my anxiety is about through the roof, like what happens when they leave ABA. Mm-hmm. So I can relate, like, even though yours is, TT's maybe moving from like middle school to high school, mm-hmm. just that anxiety of like, right, you want her to do well, you want her to be independent, yeah. but you have these people that were her safe people. And is she going to find that type of safety where she's going next?
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking into, because she would go to Fisher's High School, but mm-hmm. I wanted to go to HSC because I know the teachers
HSC.
there. Hamilton Southeastern High School. So, yeah, and I'm going to go through that process in November and everything.
Now, what's that process look like? Like, do you guys have to fill out special paperwork?
Yeah, we have to fill out special paperwork and all that, and that's about it. So,
is she going to be taking the bus?
Well, right now she likes me driving her to school, so I don't know. That's a good question, because the high schools will be a lot farther for us, mm-hmm. but we'll see.
Has she ever ridden on a school bus before?
Oh yeah.
Did she like it?
She loves it. That's why I don't understand why she doesn't like to go in the morning. I think part of it is you can't eat on the bus, and she's slow to eat her breakfast, so. When I drive her, she can eat, in the car and take it with her and all that. So I think that's like one of the main things. But then like the bonding time too, I think she likes that. I know I do.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, Kai, my older one, he started at the special pre-K at Covington, and they had a bus that would come and pick him up, and he loved that. He was loving the bus. And now, they don't have a bus that will go that far because I take them to Crawfordsville now. But I wonder now, since there's been a break, mm-hmm. and now either like grandma and grandpa or mom has been taking them back and forth and they kind of have their routine with that. I wonder if now he would go back, like if he was in a situation where he would ride a bus with other kids, like if he would want to, or if he would pull a TT and be like, like I kind of like this. This is a comfort zone thing.
Yeah. I know it's like a comfort zone thing with her because she likes taking the bus back home. So I'm like, I don't understand. But yeah. Well, I put two and two together. I'm like, she wants to make sure she eats.
Yeah.
And then she likes that bonding time and
yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think that will change. Anything to keep her happy, I'll do it.
Hey, that's a big thing, right?
Yeah,
like keeping them happy. I think there's people often get the impression that parents of autistic children are being like soft, or they're spoiling them, or whatever. Mm-hmm. When I'll just speak for myself, and then you speak for yourself. But I find that the routine or the triggers, whatever that looks like, if something sets these kids off, you take like 3 or 4 times the amount of time fixing the problem rather than just, I don't want to say taking the easy way, but figuring out the priority list of like, of the things. How bad is it? Like, how much do you absolutely need to hold your ground here? I'll give you an example. My daughter is not a fan of clothes. She's just not. Never really has been. To me, I'm like, I would rather her get in the car seat and get dressed later because the objective is get her to school. Mm-hmm. So if you try and force dress that kid, it's not going to go well. No. And then she's going to have an outburst of behavior, which leads to a meltdown that will take a long time for her to regulate. And she's very, very upset for a long period of time, which is then going to delay everyone and delay all 3 children from going to school. Not just that, stresses her out, stresses her brothers out, stresses her mother out. And by the time all things are said and done, everybody's day has started poorly. Mm-hmm. So to me, now I've kind of figured out a system now that we're kind of figuring out the quirks. But I had to think about it that way. And I was like, right, what is your objective? What is the most important thing that you need done right now? Mm-hmm. Do you have to do this? And like, is someone else maybe potentially influencing your decision or forcing your decision? Mm-hmm. And I've had to have a talk with my parents even, and I think they're starting to figure it out now. Because I had a talk with the school. The school said, listen, if you're struggling, they actually do better throughout the day if they show up in a good mood. So sort of whatever it takes to get them there, within reason, obviously. Mm-hmm. But if you force them into the car, if you force them to get dressed, if you force them into their car seat, and then they're crying and struggling or whatever the whole way to school, that does flow into their day. Mm-hmm. You know, they struggle, their teachers struggle. They're not starting their day well. And I think, you know, even for adults, we're affected that way too. Like, we also want to start our day well. And if we don't start our day well, then yeah, it's not great for us either. So it just makes good sense. Like, whether it's a normal child or a kid with a disability, mm-hmm. like the parent, the caregiver, whatever it takes, once you identify what that is, just do that. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Well, I found that, you know, you have to kind of prioritize what's more important. Pick and choose your battles, mm-hmm. for sure. Because I'm gotten to the point, well, she's gotten to the point, you know, she's 13, she'd rather, you know, lay on the couch and watch TV, sure. Then go somewhere. And I'll be like, oh, Titi, come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, there was a fall festival going on mm-hmm. last year, and I thought, sure, she would want to go. She acted like she wanted to go.
Yeah.
Then when we got there, nope, she refused to get out of the car. Hmm. And I'm like, oh, okay. Why? What's going on? I even try to get, like, you know, other people to kind of coax her out of the car. Mm-hmm. But that little girl, when she stands her ground, she stands her ground.
Oh, like, yeah.
She wasn't moving. So,
yeah, the willpower is strong with these ones.
Yes, it is. And I just feel like, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
Yeah, having a kid with autism, it's a lot of preparation, mm-hmm. like step-by-step preparation. You can't just, you know, spring something on them and be like, oh, here you go. This is what's going to happen. And you have to prepare them. And, like, for instance, while I was talking about, you know, the hair, the beautician. Yeah. Like, I actually drove by there and, like, went through the parking lot, and so she could see, you know, mm-hmm. the building, and then before the consultation and right. stuff like that. It's just like, because in my brain, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm done, you know. Yeah. But you have to, with TT, you have to break it down in little bite-sized pieces. She wants to know, which, I mean, I think all of us do want to know what's going to happen, what's going on before, yeah. you know, the actual thing. But with her, yeah, she doesn't like the unexpected at all. Yeah, she doesn't.
She likes the pattern.
Yeah,
makes her comfortable.
Routine pattern. Yeah, she likes it. She likes it that way. So
I don't know if I shared this with you. Actually, I'm not sure if I did. Did I tell you that I got tested for autism as well? Did I share that with you?
So
Did I? So now that I watched my children for as long as I have and trying to figure things out, figure their quirks and all that, along the way I figured I had my own quirks. And I was like, right. Okay, so I can kind of see the root. They're not all the same, but I definitely identify with that. I think my age group, we're probably similar age group, but, you know, I grew up in that time where the adults, not just parents, all the adults around you were like, just do it. Just do it and do it now the way I need to do it, and like hurry up and get out the door, do the thing, whatever. And I had an enormous amount of anxiety. I maybe didn't say to people, but now that I'm looking back, I think I always had anxiety, like a massive amount of anxiety. And it was because of things like that. And I'll use an example that, you know, 2 examples. Everybody used to make fun of me about, but now looking at my kids, I'm like, like looking back, there are some telltale signs about some things that are just, for me now, are glaring. So I would, like, let's say I'm making a sandwich, any kind of sandwich. That part wasn't important, but I lay it all out. I lay all the pieces out. I get it all nice and put together, just so, and it's sort of like a piece of art. And I'm like, right, great. Like, I have the plate. I have it positioned the way that I want. All the things are on it. And my dad came across and poked his finger right in the middle of that sandwich, and I was like, ugh. And I still remember that. Now, they made fun of me, and they thought I was hysterical. But internally, I was like, ugh, because I'd spent all this time making this sandwich like the way that I wanted it.
Right.
Now that I know that I have autism, I'm like, oh, okay, I see that. Same with, like, when I was growing up, I'd eat my way around the plate. I wouldn't necessarily mix things. If I have, like, meat and potatoes and vegetable, whatever that looked like, I just kind of rotate myself around the plate. I'd eat my peas one by one. They thought that was hysterical. Yeah, so they're like little quirky things about myself growing up that, like, I had this compulsion to do. And now I'm seeing these things in my children, and I'm like, you kind of get it honestly, kid. Like, it might not be all the same things, but I think in that process of trying to figure out how to help my children and how to work that out, I have really discovered a lot about myself. So now I've been in this process of backtracking where I'm like trying to rediscover myself and trying to find ways to make things work. So I think that, us sitting and having these types of conversations about our children and, being vulnerable, talking about all the things, it does really help people. And that's why I decided to go ahead and share like little bits of my story too, because I think there are a lot of moms out there, from what I understand, that once they have one kid, a couple kids that end up getting diagnosed with autism, then more and more adult mothers are seeing similarities also in their children, and now they're seeking out diagnosis because they're like, I think I did some of those things. But I think it's more from a prospect of like, I want to be an advocate for my child. And then along the way, they find out they're also learning how to be an advocate for themselves. So do you, besides TT, do you know if there's anybody else in your family that has autism?
I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
Because TT's father, he is schizophrenic, which I didn't know about.
Sure.
And the lady that diagnosed her was saying that there was a correlation between autism and schizophrenia, which I didn't know that either. So, I just thought it was coming from, his side. But I keep looking at my family, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Did you do any DNA testing with TT?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So I did, but it's only because, I think it has advanced enough to the point where a lot of insurance will cover it now. So I have a cousin that's, I want to say, he's probably in his 30s now. And my aunt and I were having a conversation about him because he was always going back and forth to Riley. But at that time, the genetic testing was way too expensive. Like, there was no way she'd be able to afford that. But that also helped me make my decision for testing myself, because I also went through that process of trying to figure things out. And I think there's like a certain amount of shame with the trying to figure out like who did what, which side of the family it came from. And so through that process, I found out that definitely it came from my side.
Okay.
So, that might be helpful for you if your insurance will pay for it.
Right.
Just to give you kind of that peace of mind and kind of work through some things. I'm one of those, it's like all information is good information.
Yes. Yes, that is so true. So, yeah, I do want to look into that because, I keep looking back at my family. I'm like, I don't really think I don't think I've, noticed anybody in my family that may be on the spectrum, but that doesn't mean that, they aren't. So.
Well, let's talk about the fact that, in certain communities, it's just not something that people want to talk. They don't want to hear it. They're not going to go and get testing.
And African American and Latino community, they don't they kind of treat the child like, oh well, that's just him, that's just the quirks and all that, and it's like they don't want to deal with the root of the problem. I don't know if I don't know if parents are scared about that or what, but yeah, I think it's getting better.
Yeah.
But because more information is getting out there about autism, but yeah, it's different.
Well, I think it's probably also like a self-reflection of you're like, I don't want there to be anything wrong with my child.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't want anything to be wrong with my child, or there's nothing wrong with him, he's fine, that kind of dismissive, attitude. So, yeah, but I think with more education about what autism is, I think that will make a difference. I really do.
Well, I think that's why we're having these types of conversations, right? Because there's no better advocate than the parents.
Exactly.
And when you have a bunch of politicians, lawmakers, what have you, that are really speaking for this community, that don't have anyone in their family or, very close to them, you can't very well make an educated decision about a group of people if you're not in it, if you're not related. So that's why, things like this are important. Because you and I come from different backgrounds, we come from different parts of the state, we might have different lived experiences, but here's this one thing that we have in common. And then, your child's older than my children, but there's this whole sort of sub base of people that are highly under misrepresented within this community that I feel like no one's going to know if they don't come out and talk to us. Or if they don't come out and see these kids, if they don't go to their schools and see the value in, the special education programs or the ABA programs. And, we were talking about SSI and stuff. Maybe we should have a conversation about that too, because these are things that people don't know about. Like you said, someone made you aware of these things.
Right. I do kind of want to go backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
A lot of... Because I think a lot of the attitudes from black children or brown children, they see it as the child's being bad, things like that. When really it's
like you mean within your community.
Yes. I mean they're dysregulated. If they haven't been diagnosed, but they are autistic. I mean. it's not bad behavior. It's because, they can't navigate the world that they're in, because they don't have the diagnosis. So I just wanted to say that part.
Well, I think this is also valid too and needs to be hit on, if there's not support within the community to seek out help, or if it's seen as a bad thing, or, a bad mark or stain on the family or something like that, that would definitely not encourage someone to take their child to be tested.
Right.
So, I think it's really important. Like, I think it's fabulous that you came on today because you're speaking for this community and you're living it, you're being an advocate. So, you would be a perfect person to raise awareness and be like, hey, look, things aren't perfect. I know there's problems in the community, but like, look at me, look at my daughter. We've gotten significant help. Here are the things that are available. There are people out there that can help with this. Like, you don't have to do it alone.
Right. And that's what I like about what we're doing with, awesome indie moms and things like that. Just sharing their resources, even, uniquely you with the magazine, sharing those resources and letting them know that they're not alone.
Right.
That there is help. You don't have to navigate this whole, autism journey by yourself. So, yeah, those mentors are important. Maybe we speak a little bit about that too. You want to speak about the mentorship program? Oh yeah, I loved it.
I'll let you talk about it. I feel like I've done enough talking.
Oh,
you'll talk some more.
Okay. For the mentorship program, I can't remember how long it was. It was a few weeks, but basically, you have the mentor and the mentee. Meet together. Talk about life. Talk about things that. Oh, my child did this. I'm like, oh, okay, my child did that too. And then just kind of relate back and forth and not give advice. That I try not to do that because, if it goes wrong, don't blame me. And
I think it's important to note, like, this was the first try.
Yeah.
And, most of us are just normal people. So, we were figuring it out and doing our best. I also participated in the mentor program and I was also trying my best, but I don't know if I did a great job. So, but it's good that we're starting something.
Yes. And then that's the important part, to start it and to initiate, those relationships and conversations and all that. So I loved it, honestly. I got to know my mentee's family and, some of the struggles that she dealt with. They're similar, but, different at the same time. But just trying to be there. I will send her positive messages, via text, and just trying to uplift her every day and ask her, how can I better serve you? How can I better support you? That's the word, support. So I don't know. I loved it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting because we speak about isolation, and this is a community that is severely isolated. And so just the fact that you have all of these women from all different backgrounds that are coming together, starting programs because they see a need for it. And I think the goal seems to be the same across the board for everyone, where it's like, we remember what it was like. And so this is our opportunity to give back and to try and make it better.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that.
But I actually, one thing that I love from the mentor portion of it is I think it was a really diverse group.
It was.
And I liked that.
Yeah.
Because I think, the more diverse the groups get, the more accurate the representation is of the entire community.
Yep.
I think people are under this impression because of sometimes the percentage maybe of people getting tested. Because like you said, there's a certain hesitation maybe in the African American or the Hispanic communities to take their kids to get tested, or maybe they're being tested later. So, it would seem sometimes that maybe there are more white males that are being, percentile wise, that have autism. I think that is a grossly underrepresented number, because I think that with increased awareness, especially whenever we get into different communities, and like you said, be those advocates and reassure people and be that support system that says, hey, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your kid. Here are all these resources that are available to you. And if you think that there's something going on, early intervention is best, but just making people aware. There's not a stigma, like these programs are here to help you. And the earlier that you get your child help, the better. Exactly. I think when we can really infiltrate all these communities and people trust us and they see that, those numbers are going to be totally different. You're going to see that the numbers for autism, I think, will very much reflect all of the population. You're not going to have as many white boys that have autism. You're going to see more, African American girls, Hispanic boys, Hispanic girls, twins, boy-girl twins. You're going to see the full gamut that I think will accurately represent the population. And when we start to do that, we'll be able to get more resources for people, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's talk about what you got here.
This is my devotional, Strength for the Weary Heart. It's a devotional geared towards single moms of children with exceptional needs. I really feel like God placed it on my heart like a couple years ago, and then I had a heart attack like in January, and that kind of sat me down, and and I had time to actually work on it, and then I came in contact with Mariah Sharon, and she told me about her publishing company, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's see if we can do this. So, we got together and talked about my vision for the book, and she told me, gave me some, advice and things to do, and, we would contact each other back and forth, and we got it done. It's
all right. So, maybe read one of your devotionals. Give us a little mini intro into it for people that are interested in buying it. And where can they buy it?
You can buy it on Amazon.
We'll provide the link in the notes for you guys.
Yes. I broke it up by emotions. So we have like anxiety, fear, stress, guilt, overwhelm, frustration, and exhaustion. So
those are sort of like the chapters.
Yeah, those are the chapters. Okay. Yeah. And then after the devotion, I have a section called the heart check where, like for instance, this one says, what does it look like to invite God's steady peace into the heart of your caregiving today? It's just like reflective questions. And then there's like space to write and everything. Okay. I can read this one. Okay. Casting your cares. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. That's from 1 Peter 5:7. And then I put anxiety can feel like a pinched nerve pressing against your heart and mind. It keeps pressing at all the painful parts of your life. But God knows exactly the kind of load you're carrying, and he gently invites you to hand it over to him. His strength can hold it all, and his love is big enough to care for you and your child right where you are. And the heart check I have is there a specific worry you can release to God, knowing, trust, and trusting he lovingly cares for you. So it's just, basically.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. So it's like,
give us another one.
Another one? Oh.
Yeah, read us a few more. Okay. We want to get these people really like funching at the bit to buy this book.
Okay. Let me see here. Okay. This is under fear. Guided by God's loving hand. And it starts out with Isaiah 41:13. For I am the Lord your God who takes a hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Then the devotional goes on to say, there are days when the struggles we face seem so overwhelming and more than you can bear. But you are not forgotten. God is right there, extending his hand to you and walking with you through every step. In the hardest times, trust that he is leading you with care and will never leave your side. And then the heart check I have is, how can you lean on God, not only in your struggles, but also in the everyday victories of single motherhood with an exceptional needs child? Because there are ups and downs.
Yeah.
A lot of, I call it, actually, I read something about the rainbow period. So, you have your ups and your downs, you have your bright colors, you have your dark colors. And to me, that's very accurate, because there's some days, some days I'm like, okay, like, I don't know how to quite navigate, like, the behavior, what's going on. I'm trying to get to the root of it. And there's other days, it's like smooth sailing, everything's fine. So.
Well, give us an example of that sort of thing. Like for people that are struggling, that, often your who is you, right? So I'm assuming these are the type of things that you needed or that you would have wanted to hear, things like that.
Yes. These are things that, I felt like fear and exhaustion, especially exhaustion, because some nights, TT would not sleep, and like, especially during a specific incident where she had a medication change and she would not sleep for 2 weeks, and that was rough. So, but I just try to touch on different things that I experience, and I think other single moms with exceptionally needs kids, probably felt an experience as well, and just tied it in with the Bible verses and reflective questions, and that's basically what this book is. All right. Yeah.
So, for the people out there that are curious about if this book fits them, what type of woman are you really trying to speak to? Because I know you said single women that have exceptional needs children, but for those that are a little like on the fence of like, I don't know if this book is for me or not, what would you say? Like, for those people that are like, I don't know if this book is for me, like, what would you tell them?
I will tell them at least, take a peek, look at it, read through some pages, and see if you like it.
That it's for everyone, really.
Yeah.
I'd say most of these things are applicable to everyone from every faith.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. So, yeah.
Oh, so it's a pretty inclusive book then.
Yes, I'm all about inclusion, so as you can tell.
I know. Well, let's talk a little bit about that too, because, you also write an article for a magazine, and maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about that too. I've
written for Uniquely You since the beginning, so it's been 5 years already.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And then I'm also editor-in-chief for the Indie and the Detroit publications, so
okay,
that's exciting.
Well, bravo, that is exciting.
Thank you. And then 2 years ago, I started a column called Single Mama Scene, where I talk about the issues that single moms face, and but now I'm doing like profiles, and because it's not just about me, it's about other single moms too, and so just to see how they're flourishing, some of the challenges that they may have, and because there is like it's not like a cookie cutter, here's our life. No, right. There are some ups and downs, and I just want to, highlight that single mamas, they don't have to be in the corner somewhere, just isolated. You know, they do have lives, and
Right.
you know, they advocate for their children like crazy, and you know, that's why I started it. You know, because I feel like single mamas, they kind of suffer in silence, I would say.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it seems like there's probably an origin story hidden in all of this activity of trying to help single moms. You know, maybe you might want to touch on a little bit of, like, obviously you're a single mom, you have a special needs child, but like, what really prompted you to do these things?
It's just
Because I know you have a background, you have a journalism degree, correct?
yes, I have a master's
Okay.
of science in magazine journalism.
Okay.
Um,
So writing is a little bit your shtick.
yes, I love writing. Editing is my heart. I love editing. Honestly, it's just something that God placed on my heart, and I just wanted to do it to help other single moms.
Well, you know, not everybody will. Like, lots of people, they have thoughts to do things, but they don't act. So was there anything in particular that happened that you were like, right, I need to do something. I need to start something. And where did you start? Was it the magazine? Is that where you started?
I would say so. I would say it started from there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, maybe I could do a little bit more, you know. And after my heart attack, I had more time
Yeah.
to get it done. So I just went ahead and went for it, and I get hyper focused. When I get hyper focused on something, yeah, like there's no looking, you know, this way or that way. I'm just like hyper focused on what I'm doing, and I just dug in, and that's pretty much what happened.
Well, I think it's beautiful, and you know, you should be really proud of yourself because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to have the courage to start, and the courage to finish, the courage to take the criticism for somebody else to go through your work and help you, you know, mold that in a way that you can bring out to the world. So bravo.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I hope that we see a lot more books out of you.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking so.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say is, when it comes to writing a book, and you have someone helping you, like Mariah helped me. It's important to be teachable and coachable, which means being able to, you know, either take not even criticism, just like suggestions, and you know, don't take it personally. Just, you know, just think about it, and just make sure that you're still learning and everything. So yeah.
Was there anything else you think you'd like to touch on today? We've talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, we have. Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, I think it's been amazing having you on, and I'd love to have you back. So as you go along through your journey and you write more books and you do more things and you do more advocacy, please come back and see us.
Oh, I will. Thank you. And well, I do have a freelance editing thing I'm doing too. So
Okay.
just to let you know.
All right. So what is your freelance thing that you're doing? What's it called, and how can people reach you?
It's called Warm Edits by Christina.
Okay.
That's my original. And basically I just offer editing services for, you know, students in school, like for papers, reports, stuff like that.
Okay.
College, you know, papers and reports, or anybody who's working on a book and needs an extra set of eyes. That's pretty much what I do.
Okay. So how can people reach you? Is there a certain email that you would like for them to reach out?
Yeah, just Christina.McGairk@gmail.com.
Okay. So we'll provide that in the comments too, so people can get a hold of you. And the last thing that I ask people, if people walk away with anything from this episode, as far as like what you stand for, just something to remember you by, what would you like them to walk away with that, you know, Christina is this. Christina stands for this.
Oh,
Is there
wow.
something in particular, like if they don't remember anything else from the podcast, but that one shining thing that stands out that you really, really want people to walk away with, what would that be?
To know that I'm an advocate, not just for autistic individuals, but also along the spectrum. I mean, Angelman syndrome, Down syndrome. Basically, I love all the kids. I love people in general,
Yeah.
but especially our community, the exceptional needs community. Honestly, I feel like they're a gift from God.
Okay.
I honestly do. And they have a lot to show us, a lot, to contribute to this world. It may not look like the way we want it to look, but they do make a contribution. So, I don't know. I'm just like an advocate for anyone who has developmental needs and things like that. So, yeah.
Oh, that's how I see you too. So I think that's a good way to wrap it up. So thank you, Christina, for coming on, and we will see you very soon.
Okay. Thank you.
We are at a pivotal point in American history. We do not have the luxury to remain silent. Programs are disappearing every day. We hope that this podcast raises awareness and sparks a sense of advocacy in you. We all can make a difference. The important thing is to start. See you next time.